Hi students, my name is Chris Nelson. I'm an Ed student out here in Fort Worth, Texas, and today I want to talk about Level 5 leadership with you. This is an article by Jim Collins, and it's his culmination of work for 25 years where he's come up with key characteristics of a leader that's successful in today's climate. So let's go through the agenda briefly first. So first we're going to talk a little bit about who Jim is and why he's qualified to talk about this subject. So we're going to go through the books that he's authored a little bit, go back on his experience, and some of his educational background as well. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the article. So what's the summary of the article? What's the whole gist of it? What does it mean? Basically just the gist of the article. Next, we're going to go into current day applications. So we're going to talk a little bit about, okay, this is what the article says, and this is how it can be applied to our current business climate. So let's get started. So let's talk about Jim Collins first. So like I said, he's authored 6 books. He's had a hand in those, either authored or co-authored. He has 25 years of experience. He's a current teacher at Stanford at their business school, and his undergraduate and MBA is actually at Stanford as well. So he studied mathematics at first, thus his qualifications for doing an intense research study that's summarized by this article, and then he went and got an MBA at the same school. And because he's been so successful in the field, he actually has 2 honorary doctorates from the schools shown here. So Level 5 leadership, what is it? What does it mean? It's kind of a catchy term there, so let's dive into it a little bit. So basically the whole gist of the article is, what does it take for leaders to transform mediocre, good organizations into great organizations? So what Jim did, he has a data-driven approach to this. Remember, his background's in mathematics. So he had a 5-year study with 22 research associates. And the qualifications for this was to look at companies that were 6.9 times higher than the market average over a 15-year period. So these were very successful companies. And they were so successful that only 11 companies fulfilled that qualification. And of those 11 companies, each CEO had common qualifications, common characteristics. And what he summarizes those characteristics as is a Level 5 leader. So we're going to get a little bit into the framework here. So Level 1 is just a capable individual. This could be someone who graduated from college, this could be someone who's been in the workforce for an extended period of time, but they're just a capable individual who contributes. Then you level up. You level up to Level 2. This is where you're a contributing team member. This is where you're making contributions to the team, you're starting to guide the team a little bit, you're moving up through the ranks. You level up again to a competent manager. This is where you're leading groups of people, you're accomplishing tasks, you're basically aligning organizations to get your tasks done. Then you level up one more time to a Level 4. This is where you see a lot of CEOs and leaders in the current business climate. This is basically an effective leader. They're demonstrating vision, they're giving direction to employees, they're aligning the right people in the right jobs. But what Jim has identified as a Level 5 leader, where you ascend above that. And a Level 5 leader is an executive. They've risen above. They have enduring greatness that they show. Basically setting up their company to succeed past themselves. It's not all about themselves and their position. It's about the company and how it's going to make a difference. So that's basically a summary of what Level 5 leadership is. It's rising above the current climate and being a leader that is looking forward and extending the business. So let's look a little bit more about Level 5 leaders. So Level 5 leaders are multifaceted. So the definition that Jim constantly brings up for a Level 5 leader is humility and will. So not only are they humble and willing to admit when they're wrong, not take credit for everything that goes great with the company, but actually push it back onto the team, give them the credit, or actually sometimes they even blame luck for it, but just to take responsibility and be humble. The other part of them is their driving will. They're not willing to back down from a fight. If they believe in something, they're going to stand up for it, and they're going to continue to push their organization through. So part of that persuasive will, as that he calls it, or resolve, is basically just having a clear agenda, setting direction for the company, and not being willing to back down from it. Some other characteristics that he defines are people-driven. So successful leaders, level 5 leaders, care about their people, they're humble, they're willing to talk to them and figure out what motivates them, how they can align them in the right positions, what can make both the company and them successful. They also have a positive mindset. So whenever things go badly, it's just a little bit of bad luck in the road. So, they take responsibility for that, they find ways to fix it, and they focus on the positive, things that they can control. Also, flywheel process. This one's interesting. It's basically, a flywheel, a little bit at a time. So they inject positive energy, they make small changes to the organization, and then those changes eventually build on each other, and they make an organization that's reflecting their values. Focused approach. They don't try to be a jack of all trades. They focus on a few things that they know they can be really good at, and they can make a difference in those spheres. Technology accelerators. They adopt technologies, they create technologies, and they bring them to the forefront. So they're not always the early adopters, but they refine the technologies, they make them better, they make them successful. And then finally, a disciplined culture. So they hold people accountable for their actions, they encourage accountability, they encourage commitment, and they reward those people for their actions as well. That's basically a summary of level 5 leaders. The main thing to remember here is the humility and the will. Basically, they're a balance of humility, being humble for whatever goes well, and then also having a driving will to accomplish what's in front of them. So let's look about how level 5 leaders can fill voids in organizations today, basically the application side of it. So the common culture today is a demanding executive environment. It's where CEOs are typically demanding, they're being condescending to people, they're yelling at them, but they're not really connecting with their people. Level 5 leaders can bring in their humility in this situation and definitely influence the company. Humility, a big one here. I'm not sure if Mark Cuban actually said this, but this is the mindset of most CEOs today. They're so conceited, they think that they can do no wrong. Level 5 leaders can come in here and show their humility and make a difference for the organization. And then an unclear roadmap for success. Like you can see here, this is definitely a confusing sign. This is actually the roadmap for most organizations. There's not a clear definition for what the road to success is for them. So whenever a level 5 leader comes in, they have that determined focus. They focus on just a few things. They're not going to spread themselves too thin and try to be a jack of all trades. And they can pinpoint the areas for success. And let's see how they transform organizations. So mediocrity. This is a common accepted principle in today's business climate. It's just good is good enough. You're not worried about succeeding or being a great company. So like it says here, it takes a lot less time and most people won't even notice the difference. So level 5 leaders come in and they banish mediocrity. They don't accept that. Their driving will is what pushes them through to be a successful leader. Next, they promote diversity because they care about their people and they're humble. They're willing to accept other people's beliefs and figure out what makes them tick and come alongside them and promote them. And finally, they inspire development. They care about their people and they want to see them genuinely succeed and build up the organization. And they invest in their employees and make sure that they're going to go along their way. And that's basically the summary of level 5 leadership. They're successful individuals who have humility and driving will, and they can make a great change in today's business climate. Thanks for your time today. You guys have a good morning.